My husband suddenly fainted, and I rushed to visit him. He hugged his female secretary and said that Yanran and I had confessed our love, and we should get a divorce. I poured chicken soup on his head and smiled. Okay, after leaving the ward, I tore up his brain cancer report and asked the driver to throw his things out of the house. I was very tolerant and trusting of Zhao Hucheng. Someone even told me that he had been getting a little close to his secretary recently, but I didn't take it to heart because I had also seen that secretary. She just had a better figure and an unexpectedly ordinary face. I still had this confidence until that day when my mother-in-law, some aunts and uncles and I went to the hospital to visit Zhao Hucheng. As soon as I opened the door, I saw her and the secretary lying on the hospital bed. We hugged and kissed, the kind that was drawn together. When Zhao Hucheng saw us coming, he was surprised for a moment. I think the main reason was that he didn't expect that I could bring so many people. But in the end, he gritted his teeth, hugged the female secretary in his arms and said palely, "Deal Yanran and I have been together for these years, and you are too controlling. You completely disregard my self-esteem. It's suffocating. I really can't stand it. Let's get a divorce." He said it so coldly and even accused me of being the culprit, without caring at all what the relatives and friends around me would think of me. I really didn't expect him to say that. "You are suppressing your anger, right? How did I control you? You said you didn't want to go to work, so I managed the company for you every day. You spend millions every month to buy a bunch of useless things are piled up at home. Have I ever said a word to you? You and this secretary were being affectionate in public, and it was me who controlled you." Zhao Hucheng was indignant. "Don't insult Yanran. I seduced him actively. He has been unwilling to agree to my divorce because he feels sorry for you." Gu Yanran immediately said pitifully, "Brother Chang, don't say anything. I will leave after the baby is born." This time Zhao Hucheng hasn't spoken yet, but the mother-in-law said in surprise, "Child, what child?" Zhao Hucheng looked at Yanran's mother gently. "Yanran is pregnant with our flesh and blood and flesh and blood." I almost vomited because of the disgust of these two people. With a sneer, I said to the embarrassed mother-in-law and the 3 aunts and 7 mothers-in-law, "Now everyone look at this." When we got there, it was Zhao Hucheng who cheated first and had a child with the mistress. He was the one at fault for the divorce. Hearing this, Zhao Hucheng angrily yelled at me, "I've already told you Yanran is not a mistress. I forced her to be with me, and you don't know why I don't want you. Look at yourself and see if you act like a woman. You speak harder than men, and every time you talk to me it's like you're scolding your son. Which man would like someone like you?" "Yes, it takes 2 to tango," someone chimed in. Naturally, his family members all supported him and began to blame me for being unattractive. My mother-in-law took a serious look at Yanran's belly, hugged her, and then said to me, "What's the deal? It was his fault for not telling you clearly earlier, but you were also wrong. That's absolutely no problem. I think we should just forget about it." I curled my lips slightly. Of course I will forget about it. I won't wash and pick up the garbage that has been used by others. These words made Zhao Hucheng and my mother-in-law change their faces. The rest of the people were also shocked. They didn't expect that I, who had always been obedient and virtuous, could say such a thing. Oh, by the way, because Zhao Hucheng wanted to save face, I never told everyone that the company was actually open with my money, and Zhao Hucheng couldn't catch up with my talent in running the company. He just flipped cards at work every day and had no power in the company. These mothers-in-law and relatives didn't know. They always thought that I relied on Zhao Hucheng. Maybe it was their admiration that made Zhao Hucheng. He was so proud and thought he was something. Thinking of this, I smiled coldly. My patience had just reached its limit. I glanced at Zhao Hucheng indifferently and told him to come to me to divide the property in 2 days. When he heard the word property, Zhao Hucheng finally remembered what kind of trash he was. Maybe he had been pretending to be something for so long that he thought he was really something. He looked a little embarrassed at the moment and got off the bed anxiously, wanting to pull me to talk. I really thought he was dirty and didn't want to be touched by such a dirty person, so I threw the chicken soup in my hand over his head, and the greasy juice splashed all over his head. Zhao Hucheng looked at me in disbelief. He didn't expect that I would treat him like this. I almost laughed to death. He thought I was really that rare. We are just living together. There is some affection but not much. I walked away in my high heels amid the scolding of my mother-in-law and the screams of the mistress. When I reached the hospital entrance, the assistant handed me the examination report of Zhao Hucheng's brain cancer. "Look, Mr. Chen, you guessed right. Manager Zhao really has brain cancer." I took a look and then tore the report to pieces. He is no longer Manager Zhao, so the report has nothing to do with me. On the way back, I closed my eyes tiredly, thinking that I once promised someone to live a good life. But unfortunately, I broke my promise and ended up living like this. When I met Zhao Hucheng, I knew he was not smart enough, not romantic enough, and a little self-righteous. It is still the same now. He clearly knows. He knew that without me he would be nothing, but he would disregard everything for true love. In his heart he might still think that he was so great and heroic. How could I have fallen for him in the first place? At that time Zhao Huqing still had his merits. He listened to me very much. He would remember what I said and change it quickly. For example, he would give me gifts or flowers on holidays, massage me when I had a headache, and drive me home when I was tired. I trained him into a gentle, considerate and charming man, and spent a lot of money to buy him clothes and watches. The watch on his hand now is a birthday gift I gave him once, but it ended up being bought by another woman. I laughed sarcastically, then called my lawyer and said, "I only have one." I demanded that Zhao Huqing be kicked out of the house. He should leave the same way he came to my house. I thought I had done my best, but Zhao Huqing was a complete idiot. During the negotiation, he was afraid that the crime was not solid enough, so he brought Gu Yanran with him. The lawyer who has been serving me for many years twitched his mouth, and threw a document in front of Zhao Huqing lightly saying, "Because you are the party at fault, you will not get any of Mr. Chen's property in this divorce. If you have no objection, just sign here." Zhao Huqing heard this, a flash of panic flashed across his face, but he still forced himself to say, "No, I don't agree. I have been in the company for so many years. How come I have a share of the company's profits?" I couldn't help but laugh at him. Why should I look for you? So many men pursued me, but I chose the stupidest one, Zhao Huqing, just because I thought that someone as stupid as you would not hurt me. I didn't expect that I was so wrong. Zhao Huqing's face turned red because of what I said, and he glared at me. Don't be too much for the deal. This man is really determined not to give up until he reaches the Yellow River. I glanced at the assistant next to me. The assistant took out the documents that had been prepared long ago and read out the August 2020, "Because you quarreled with a client after drinking, we lost a 2 billion project. In March 2021, Mr. Chan said that the Xingchen project could not be cooperated, but you insisted on doing that project. As a result, the policy changed, the project was aborted, and the company lost money. A loss of 1.5 billion. As the assistant clearly understood and listed the evidence with reason and evidence, Zhao Huqing's face turned from red to purple. Gu Yanran, who was pretending to be good, finally couldn't help but said, "Are you mistaken? The company belongs to Brother Chang. How can you say it as if it's yours? Even if Brother Chang's management is not very good, he is the boss. He can find good employees to manage it. And you are just someone who was deceived into managing the company. What qualifications do you have to share the property with Brother Chang? Didn't the company pay you a salary?" I was so angry that I laughed. I said coldly, "I finally know why Zhao Huqing likes you, because what's in your heads is not brains but garbage." Gu Yanran's eyes were red when I scolded her. "Why did you scold me?" Zhao Huqing was also immediately angrily said, "Chan Jiao, if you have the guts, come at me, don't hurt Yanran." I smiled coldly, "Okay, come at you, Zhao Huqing. Do you want me to show you the company's legal person documents to prove that this company is mine and has nothing to do with you?" Gu Yanran on the side widened her eyes in surprise, and looked at Zhao Huqing fiercely, as if she wanted to hear him refute me, and Zhao Huqing's face swelled up at this moment. "Who cares about your stinky money? Yanran and I are true love. If I cared about money, I wouldn't be with Yanran. Yanran, let's go." After that, he pulled Gu Yanran up and left in a huff. So great, I really want to applaud him, but thinking about Gu Yanran's ugly expression when he heard what I said, I think the idea may be a little different. I hope Zhao Huqing can keep his so-called true love. On the way home it suddenly rained. I changed my mind and asked the driver to go to Nanshan. There is a smoky blue villa at the foot of Nanshan, and white roses are floating in the yard. I stood in front of a tombstone, staring at the smiling photo of the man on it. It's been a long time since I last saw Fu Qixuan. Fu Qixuan is my childhood sweetheart. He was attracted to me first and loved me, but I was young and ignorant at that time. I couldn't distinguish between family affection and love, and I hurt him deeply. When I went through a lot and understood my own feelings, he had a terminal illness and would not live long. I still remember him lying on the hospital bed, his face pale but his eyes warm. He said, "Chan Jiao, you are good, find a good man to marry and take a photo. Take care of yourself and don't make me worry, okay?" I cried and agreed to everything. I would be fine and live a happy life. Then I found Zhao Huqing and made my second mistake. I wiped the rain from my cheeks and said to Fu Qixuan in distress, "Am I really that bad? Why is it so hard to be happy?" After that, I sat beside the tombstone and rubbed my cheek against the cold tombstone lovingly. "Forget it, I'm so tired. I can live a good life without getting married." Believe me, at this moment Zhao Huqing appeared in front of me. His eyes were full of anger. "Do you know why I looked for Yanran? You were very good to me after we got married, but you always gave me a sense of alienation. I always felt that our love was not right. Now I finally understood why. Chen Jiao, how dare you say that? I am the one at fault. It has never been me who doesn't love. Tell me, what is your relationship with this dead guy?" I slapped Zhao Huqing hard in the face. He was stunned by me. I said coldly, "I am really stupid. In order to be loyal to our marriage, I have never come here since I confirmed my relationship with you. In the past 10 years, Only the employees of the cemetery have taken care of the tombstone. Zhao Huqing was stunned and couldn't help muttering, saying, "If you didn't have a guilty conscience, why would you dare not come to see him?" I slapped him hard again. Zhao Huqing couldn't bear it anymore and said angrily, "What are you doing? If you do this again, don't blame me for fighting back." I said coldly, "From the beginning to the end, you have always been the one with a guilty conscience. You didn't go home during the new year saying you were on a business trip, but in fact you went to France to see Gu Yanran. He was the one who dumped you, but unfortunately he married the wrong person, so he came back to find you. He just shed a few tears at you, and you completely forgot our feelings for so many years." Zhao Huqing was speechless and had to make excuses. "What about you? Can you swear that you have forgotten this dead man? Are you sincere in living with me?" I rubbed my wrist with a sneer and said, "If I wasn't sincere in living with you with your poor management skills, I could tolerate you giving orders in the company for 10 years. When others praise you for being awesome, you really think you are awesome. Let me tell you that when Fu Qihong was 18 years old, he could manage the company in an orderly manner and kept pushing the company to great heights, while you, on the other hand, have failed instead of succeeding." Zhao Huqing was furious and felt guilty. In the end, he could only say fiercely, "But he is dead and I am the one who is alive. Chan Jiao, you will spend the rest of your life with the tombstone, and I will live a good life with Gu Yanran. Our child will call you auntie when he sees you in the future." With a compassionate light in my eyes, I could not help but kindly remind him, "Listen to my reminder, okay? Go check your brain." I meant to let him go check his brain cancer, but Zhao Huqing must have misunderstood what I meant and thought I said he was stupid. His eyes were full of hurt and he murmured, "Yanran, you still let me pity you, afraid that you would not be able to bear it. You made me so sad. I don't think you deserve pity at all. With your temper, you'll be single for the rest of your life." After saying that, he turned around and left angrily. I folded my arms and sighed speechlessly. What on earth was wrong with me? Why did I find such a fool? I asked myself this question countless times. After a long time, I turned my head to look at Fu Qishuan's tombstone and smiled bitterly. "I'm sorry to have embarrassed you. After all, you know that my vision has never been very good." After a pause, I suddenly smiled, besides discovering that I fell in love with you. On the way back, the assistant said in surprise that I laughed several times today. I seldom laughed in the past few years. I touched my face, really? In fact, I didn't understand why I didn't like to laugh anymore. Until today, when I arrived at Fu Qishuan's tombstone, I realized that it was because Zhao Huqing and I were too tired. I had been forcing myself to go happiness, and Zhao Huqing are drifting further and further apart, but he refuses to admit it. Instead, Zhao Huqing suddenly divorced and gave me a way out. At this moment, I have a sense of relief. Thinking of this, I decided to be kind and let the hospital tell Zhao Huqing in person the good news that he has brain cancer. As a result, the assistant went to the hospital and brought me another shocking news. "Are you sure Zhao Huqing has no fertility at all? I can't believe it. Didn't the previous examination say that both of us are normal?" The little assistant said disdainfully, "The doctor was bribed by Zhao Huqing, so he had been hiding it from you. In fact, Zhao Huqing wanted to push the responsibility of infertility to you, but no matter how greedy the doctor was, he didn't dare to offend you too much, so as to avoid you being too angry if something happened." I was so angry that I almost fell backwards. So Zhao Huqing knew that the baby in Gu Yanran's belly was not his, but he was willing to acknowledge it. The little assistant pouted and asked, "How did you find him in the first place?" I sighed and I wanted to know too. Then the two of us went to have dinner. It happened that we ran into Zhao Huqing's family at the dinner place. My mother-in-law was inviting relatives to dinner to celebrate that their Zhao family finally had an heir. He didn't know I was here and kept slandering me, saying that we were really unlucky in the first place. We married a jinx who had been bullying us Huqing, and was a hen that couldn't lay eggs. Suddenly, he felt that the surroundings were too quiet, and realized that something was wrong. He turned around and faced me. My mother-in-law was instinctively startled. When I just got married, he wanted to show off his power as a mother-in-law, but I cured him in a few strokes. "Okay, Zhao Huqing and I are going to divorce, so I won't protect the relatives of the Zhao family. I will send debt collection companies to collect the money from those who borrowed money. I will also eliminate those who eat free meals in my company one by one and will not keep me." Having said that, there is not a single relative in the audience who did not change his expression. Zhao Huqing and I have been married for 10 years, and there are many relatives in the company. Those relatives are as useless and stupid as him, but I turned a blind eye. As long as they are not important departments, I will endure it. Fortunately, I kept it in mind at the beginning. And asked the assistant to record and observe these people, so it was reasonable to fire them. It's ridiculous that the relatives of the Zhao family still think that the company belongs to Zhao Huqing. Haha, I'm laughing to death. When will it be your turn to call the shots in our Zhao family's company? I directly clicked on some of the company's documents to show them. When did the company become Zhao Huqing's? I said so. Zhao Huqing told you, but it's a pity that he was just bragging. You believe what men say, especially the men in your family, but they all like to brag. These mothers-in-law and relatives of the Zhao family were dumbfounded. Someone asked Huqing, say something, those documents of Chen Zhao are fake, right? Zhao Huqing blushed, turned to glare at me and said, okay, everyone look at me now. What a joke. Are you happy? I don't understand. It's you who likes to brag. And it's you who wants to give up wealth and pursue true love. I'm just telling you the truth. Am I wrong? If I am wrong, it's that I knew your relatives were as stupid and self-righteous as you, but I didn't stop them in time. After I finished speaking, there was silence. Then I heard a bang. I watched my mother-in-law's head hit the table and then fell to the ground with a muffled sound. The funny thing is that the relatives who used to surround him and refused to listen to good words, this time no one went to help my mother. It was Zhao Huqing who went over and hugged him. The rest of the relatives, as if they had touched something dirty, stayed away from them. Huqing, I don't care. It was you who promised our Shaoan to go to the company. Go to work, our Shaoan has quit his original formal job, you have to be responsible, someone shouted regardless. They now know that I am the big boss, they dare not provoke me, so they go to bully Zhao Huqing and his mother who can be provoked. I smiled sarcastically, turned in my high heels, and prepared to leave. Gu Yanran suddenly called me and said, Mr. Chan, you are too ruthless in doing things, no wonder you can't have children. I was about to leave, I heard the footsteps, paused, looked at Gu Yanran with a smile, who can have a baby and who can't, don't you know, don't worry, you don't know. Zhao Huqing knows it very clearly, that is my ex-mother-in-law and these former relatives, poor thing. They really thought that their Zhao family had a successor. Gu Yanran heard what I said, the whole person panicked, looked at Zhao Huqing. Zhao Huqing's eyes flashed with panic, he really knew everything, but he still chose to yell at me, get out right now. I sneered and turned to leave. My mother-in-law woke up and heard this. She screamed, you bastard, you are just jealous that you can't have children, so you deliberately slander my daughter-in-law. I'm going to sue you. I waved my hand and said, go ahead, just take good care of the baby in his belly. Don't let it fall and die accidentally, otherwise you won't be able to find out clearly. After dropping the bomb, I left without looking back. The assistant chased after me and said, SK Mr. Chan, you don't know, after you left, your mother-in-law's eyes were different when she saw Gu Yanran. I said lightly, although she is hateful, she is indeed smarter than Zhao Huqing. I used to hate her cleverness, but now I think this kind of cleverness is good, so I don't have to waste time caring about Gu Yanran. Gu Yanran's belly will be fine. I think as her ex-mother-in-law, I will not let anything happen to her. The first thing to do after giving birth to the child is to do a paternity test. It will definitely surprise the Zhao family. 3 days later is the day when Zhao Huqing and I divorce. The last time we had a big fight. This time, he has agreed to sign an agreement to leave the house with nothing. He has no choice but to agree. My lawyer has told their family all the pros and cons. Zhao Huqing has no chance of winning, even if he files a lawsuit. But I didn't expect that when it came to signing the agreement, they would make trouble again. When these 3 people came over, I almost didn't recognize him. Zhao Huqing lost a lot of weight in 3 days. When he was with me before, I took good care of him. His skin became white and his face was rosy and plump, but now he has 2 high cheekbones. The high bulge in the face and the sunken cheeks made her look at least 10 years older. Gu Yanran also looked haggard with red eyes. Obviously she had just cried not long ago. My ex-mother-in-law looked confused and had lost her shrewd and tough look. When she saw me, she knelt down and said, wife, you can tell that he has brain cancer. I dodged her kneeling and looked at Granny Chen indifferently and said, I'm not a doctor and can't help you. Granny Chen said unwillingly, you are so rich and powerful, you will definitely find a very good doctor. Uncle, you can tell that he was bewitched by the goblin. He actually still loves you and doesn't want to divorce you at all. Now that he knows I am rich and powerful, he wants to redeem me. I just found it funny when I heard it. It seemed that not long ago, this ex-mother-in-law also said that I was a chicken that doesn't lay eggs. The Star of Doom, I think Zhao Huqing and Miss Gu Yanran should get married as soon as possible and have a baby, so that they can have double happiness and maybe alleviate the symptoms, so we should hurry up and do the formalities. I said this sincerely, but unfortunately no one believed me, especially Zhao Huqing, who was furious. Chen Jiao, you will die if you stop making sarcastic remarks. I am speechless. Why doesn't anyone believe me when I tell the truth? And my mother-in-law still refuses to give up. Jiao Jiao, you and He-chang were so good at the beginning. I believe you still have feelings for each other. Mom has made the decision. Let him separate from Gu Yanran. Don't get divorced. I wasn't born yet. Zhao Huqing quit first. I don't want to be with this cruel and vicious woman. I might as well die if I'm with her. I feel relieved. Thank you, me too. Zhao Huqing glared at me fiercely. At first glance, he signed the agreement to leave the house with nothing and also signed the divorce consent form out of anger. My ex-mother-in-law couldn't stop him in time and seemed to want to run over and tear it up. Fortunately, I brought 4 bodyguards to control those people tightly and prevent them from damaging the agreement or hurting me. Zhao Heching's face turned red with anger, and he dragged his mother out. I suddenly said, "Wait a minute." Zhao Heching heard what I said, as if he had heard a big joke. He sneered and said, "What? You regret it and want to ask me to change my mind? You'd better give up this idea." I rolled my eyes speechlessly and threw him a business card. "This doctor is an expert in brain cancer. You can go and have a try." Zhao Heching was stunned and looked at me with a complicated expression, with some inexplicable excitement and hesitation. I was afraid that he would say something embarrassing, so I quickly asked him to. The bodyguards drove everyone out. The assistant felt puzzled. "It would be better to let such a person die. You're just being kind." I looked mysterious. Saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. But in my heart, there are so many exciting secrets that have not been solved. If Zhao Heching dies, it will be all over. Isn't it a pity? In fact, I hope he can be cured. Many good days are waiting for him. Sending away these annoying people makes me feel relieved. In particular, I read the freshly issued divorce certificate again and again, thinking about the past few years. I had to pick candy from glass slag when I was sweet, but there were a lot of bad things. Zhao Heching did not do enough good things, but he made more troubles than good things. He also inserted all his relatives into the company. He didn't understand the business, but loved to show off and make decisions. In order to take care of his self-esteem, I could only try my best to sideline him instead of blaming him to his face. Unfortunately, even so, he still felt resentment towards me. In fact, I knew that it was true that he loved Gu Yanran, but he was so ruthless that he could even tolerate Gu Yanran being pregnant with someone else's child. Part of the reason must be that he wanted to take revenge on me. Unfortunately, he didn't expect that I didn't take him seriously at all. I should say that I was completely disappointed in my marriage a year or 2 ago. That was the saddest time for me, but I still didn't go to see Fu Qishuan, because I would not allow myself to cheat before the divorce, even mentally. It was not until I had a complete break with Zhao Heching that I went to see Fu Qishuan. Now I have completely unloaded the shackles of responsibility and feel relaxed. I once again came to the cemetery full of white roses. This time I picked a dewy rose, kissed it and pasted Fu Qishuan's photo. "I think I still like you the most. Don't chase me away this time." At this time Zhao Heching called me. I answered his call impatiently. "What else do you want to do?" Zhao Heching's tone was a little aggrieved. "Deal, my head hurt so much just now. I used the massage method you taught me. After a long time it didn't hurt anymore." I said speechlessly, "So, I don't think I said that we can still be friends after the divorce. He just wanted to chat with me." As a result, Zhao Heching hesitated for a long time and said, "My mother always clamors for us to get back together. Look at Yanran, the nose is not a nose and the eyes are not eyes. Otherwise, let's pretend to get back together so that you won't be laughed at for being lonely. Yanran and I will also relax a little. It's no big deal. I can still give you a massage when you have a headache." I was really amused. I'm a widow. That's all for people like you who are short, ugly and poor. And I'm single. They will only say, "Sister, look at me." Zhao Heching is extremely shocked. "You still want to find a gigolo? It's simply impossible to communicate with this person." I was about to hang up the phone, but Zhao Heching didn't give up. "Have you had a headache recently? I can come and give you a massage. We can meet and talk." I couldn't help but say, "Forget it. To be honest, I don't have a headache at all. It's just that you are always addicted to the internet, playing with your phone and computer nonstop. So I deliberately find something for you to do and let your brain rest." After that, I hung up the phone directly. In fact, I really loved Zhao Heching seriously before. I will think about him and all his good points, but unfortunately he doesn't deserve it. However, after this chat, I have a hunch that this family will have troubles and will definitely come to bother me again. I didn't realize I was more defensive. Fortunately, I was defensive, otherwise I might not be able to protect Fu Qishuan's tombstone. After hearing the news, I immediately rushed to the scene and found that Zhao Heching and Gu Yanran actually wanted to dig up Qishuan's tomb. I couldn't help but go up and slap Gu Yanran twice. Zhao Heching was stunned. "If you want to hit me, hit me. It was my idea and had nothing to do with Yanran." Gu Yanran covered her face and burst into tears. "Why did you hit me?" I sneered. "Qishuan is the only person I care about in my life. Even if he is dead, he is 1,000 times, 10,000 times nobler than you." Zhao Heching was looking at Gu Yanran's face with heartache, and she showed an incredible look when she heard it. "What about me?" I said, "You are the mistake I made because of my broken brain. Now I know my mistake and correct it. Who do you think you are?" Zhao Heching was stunned, and his eyes were filled with panic, which he didn't even notice. But Gu Yanran quickly grabbed him nervously, leaving him no time to sort out his inner feelings, and I didn't give him this opportunity. I immediately asked someone to escort them to the police station, and then said coldly, "I not only have cameras here but also recordings. Just now, Gu Yanran forced you to come in outside the wall. I also have the recording of destroying the tomb. Zhao Huqing, don't think about taking the blame for him. He is the mastermind. Gu Yanran was so scared that she didn't even pretend to cry. For the first time she was a little terrified. He looked at me, but before leaving he still said, "Don't be too proud. Let's wait and see." I think his attitude is wrong. This woman is said to have no background, no ability, and no capital to talk to me like this. What does she rely on? I walked over, touched the photo of Fu Qishuan on the tombstone and whispered, "You told me not to underestimate any enemy. I always remember it. Don't worry, I will have someone investigate it thoroughly." The investigation of Gu Yanran is really amazing. It turns out that Gu Yanran is very close to one of my business rivals, Mr. Wang. The assistant even reminded that Mr. Wang may have supported her for a period of time. She went to France not because she got married, but because Mr. Wang suspected that she had an affair with Zhao Huqing. In order to clear herself relationship and voluntarily went to live abroad, but I don't know why after we hit Mr. Wang, Gu Yanran suddenly came back. I clenched my fingers. It was Mr. Wang who was not convinced and wanted to retaliate against me, thinking that if he destroyed my marriage, I would be devastated. The assistant said angrily, "It was a close call. I almost fell into his trap." But the investigation said that Gu Yanran liked Mr. Wang very much, and he might not be sincere to Zhao Huqing. "Your ex-husband is a bit miserable," I sneered. "Who made him stupid? Not to mention he was bad and didn't deserve sympathy." Then I instructed the assistant, "Since there is also the matter of our business rival, then this matter will definitely affect the company. You asked the company security to be prepared." Sure enough, I had only given the order for a few days, and I was told that my mother-in-law dragged a stretcher and dragged Zhao Huqing, who had undergone chemotherapy, to the building of my company. When I brought people over, I heard my mother-in-law crying there. "Zhao, come out and tell me he is like this. Are you really going to abandon him and divorce him just for your childhood sweetheart?" I was shocked when I heard it. What kind of ability is this to confuse right and wrong? I walked over and saw Zhao Huqing lying on a stretcher with a painful face, and reporters were taking pictures frantically next to him. If I don't respond probably soon, there will be news that I abandoned my seriously ill husband. Zhao Huqing blushed when he saw me, but his eyes were full of hope when he looked at me. This person is really pathetic and hateful. I directly announced a press conference, and he thought we were going to reconcile. At the press conference, I told him everything Zhao Huqing had done over the years, as well as his cheating and his willful behavior were all made public, and I shed a few crocodile tears saying that he and I were once very much in love, but for so many years I endured the harm he and his mother did to me. I am also a human being and I get hurt too. Now I feel sick when I see him. No matter how others see me, I hope that these people will never appear in front of me again. After I finished speaking, there was silence below, and I don't know who suddenly started to applaud, and finally there was thunderous applause. At this moment, public opinion was overwhelmingly in favor of me. The measures that I had asked my assistant to prepare to control public opinion and maintain the stock price were not used. Instead, my company's stock price rose by a few dollars. I almost laughed to death, and finally I sat in my own large office of more than 200 square meters. Sharing a bottle of red wine with the young assistant and overlooking the high-rise buildings, I said with fear, "Fortunately, Zhao Huqing suffered setbacks everywhere in the company at the beginning, which seriously hit his self-esteem and caused him to throw the mess to me. Otherwise I would be the one who is penniless and kicked out of the company. Although the company is invested by me, and I even invested a lot of the inheritance left to me by my parents, it is not difficult to secretly transfer the company's assets. By then, I will only have a destination for the company, and Zhao Huqing, Granny Qian and Gu Yanran will live a rich and happy life." At this moment, the assistant was silent for a moment, and then he softly said, "In fact, it was Fu Qishuan. President Fu is helping you." I looked back at the assistant in surprise. The assistant smiled bitterly and said, "It was he who did this for you before he died. He planned all this. He said that your vision of people seems not very good. He was afraid that you would be deceived by sweet words and put your trust in the wrong person, so he asked me to secretly come to your side to help you." Zhao Huqing had just joined the company and started to embezzle public funds. As an assistant, it was easy for me to find out, so I planned a lot of trouble for him, which hit him hard and made him give up the management rights of the company. Mr. Fu gave me a large sum of money, and he did me a favor and asked me to protect you. So Mr. Chen, you don't have to thank me. This is all Mr. Fu's credit. I was so surprised that I almost dropped the cup in my hand. It was Assistant Qishuan who nodded, and his eyes were a little red. He is such a gentle and powerful person. If it weren't for him, I would have been bullied by those rich second generations, and then I would have been desperate and might have jumped off the building and died. It was the vice president who helped me deal with those who harmed me, and then taught me little by little to become someone who would not be bullied, but he was soft-hearted towards you. He knew that your parents would die after he left, and he had a lot of property in his hands, which was a crime, but he could never make up his mind to force you to grow up. In the end, it was too late to regret. He could only hope that you would be blessed by God, and find someone who really loves you. Unfortunately, when I heard this, I was shocked and couldn't calm down for a long time. It turned out that Fu Qishuan had been protecting me, even after his death. He was such a fool. Tears fell unconsciously, and the assistant silently withdrew, leaving a quiet space for me. Fu Qishuan, I miss you. In the end, I drank the red wine in one gulp and fell asleep on the sofa. After the press conference after that, Grandma Qian and Gu Yanran became rats crossing the street. The assistant was responsible for keeping an eye on them, saying that even if Gu Yanran went to buy vegetables, she would be pelted with rotten eggs. I sneered, stirred the coffee in my hand and said, "Let's see how long he can endure. He will soon go to the sponsor for comfort. When the time comes, you can let my mother-in-law go over to admire him." The assistant nodded repeatedly. We didn't wait long. Gu Yanran finally stole the money from home and took a taxi to find her sponsor. She cried in the box, saying how hard it was for her. If she continued like this, she was afraid that she would not be able to keep the baby in her belly. At that time, my ex-mother-in-law brought a close friend who she had just met but was very enthusiastic. Of course, it was arranged by the assistant to catch the adultery on the spot. Gu Yanran was beaten and had a miscarriage, and the sponsor, Mr. Wang, happened to be remembered. It was filmed by someone and soon spread all over the internet. Some very smart people immediately found the slippage. I have a bold guess. Isn't this Mr. Wang in an antagonistic relationship with Chan Jiao's company? Recently, Chan Jiao has snatched several of their projects. As a result, this Mr. Wang has a close relationship with the mistress of Chan Jiao's ex-husband. I'm going to start a conspiracy theory. Could it be that Mr. Wang was the one who instigated the divorce of the couple? Did he think that Chan Jiao's marriage was interfered with and she must be confused after the divorce, and then he could take the opportunity to attack Chan Jiao's company? For a while, everyone pointed the finger at Mr. Wang. In addition, he actually has a wife and children, and the company's funds are funded by his wife's family. This is simply a hornet's nest. His wife rushed to the company and beat him into a pig head, and she just sent Gu Yanran to my ex-mother-in-law, and also sent over the evidence of his being with Mr. Wang for so many years, as well as the paternity test that Gu Yanran had done. She was afraid that Mr. Wang would not believe that the child was his, so she had a paternity test. Now my ex-mother-in-law finally knew that the child was not Zhao Huqing's. She was so angry that she started to wrestle with Gu Yanran, and as a result she was pushed down the stairs by Gu Yanran when she was not paying attention. The two of them are now having a great time fighting the lawsuit, and I laughed as I watched, but I always felt like something was missing. Oh, by the way, where is Zhao Huqing? The little assistant was speechless when she heard this. Zhao Huqing's brain cancer worsened and he was paralyzed. The two women were busy fighting each other and didn't have much time to take care of him. Now he might really regret being. I didn't betray you at first, so I went to see him for the last time. Zhao Huqing had just passed away. The room was full of a foul smell. When he saw me, his face turned red and he just said sorry to me for a long time. He smiled bitterly and said, "If I hadn't betrayed you, you would have taken good care of me. Although it might be a little painful, I would have died with dignity and happily." It took me a long time to say to Zhao Huqing, "This is the last time I see you. Besides, I forgive you." Saying goodbye, I completely left Zhao Huqing's world. A year later, I heard that Zhao Huqing had died. He was found by the nurse who came to take care of him 2 days after his death. As for my ex-mother-in-law and Gu Yanran, they had been biting each other. Finally, Gu Yanran couldn't stand it anymore and killed Zhao Huqing's mother and Mr. Wang. Then he committed suicide in the rental house. In the end, everyone was dead. In fact, I didn't do anything. They just suffered retribution. I leaned against Fu Qishuan's tombstone, watched the shooting stars with him and muttered, "You told me to do more good deeds. Good will be rewarded with good, and evil will be punished with evil. I listened to you. I didn't retaliate against those people. It's also because I have been doing a lot of good things that when I held a press conference, public opinion was on my side." Fu Qishuan, you are so smart. Did you calculate all this? You are the best and smartest person I have ever met. No doubt about it. The moonlight moved gently, and I felt that Fu Qishuan seemed to respond to me. He whispered to me, "Little liar. I think that's enough. I will live the rest of my life happily because of this sentence." The whole text is over.